Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Accidental Isolation, where I like to bring on a guest to speak about a moment in their lives where they may have found themselves isolated, whether that be mentally, physically, or emotionally. This platform is to bring awareness so that everyone will understand how common it is to go through an isolation and that we all go through them. So, hopefully, by listening to the guests on this show, you'll be able to gather tools to put in your toolbox of life. So, today I got the wonderful MiaLoveLive on the show. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
giving me your time today.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, and I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
So, we'll go ahead and get started and let the listeners and viewers know who Mia Love Live is.
So I'm Mia Love Live. I am a writer, performer, storyteller, producer within my company, Mia Love Live Productions. Charlotte born and raised. Couple siblings. I'm the eldest of them, and went to school here. Did I've done a lot of things, but before now,
Yeah.
not like currently now,
Yeah.
but I've had my hands in a little bit of everything.
But this is what
yeah.
you are now.
But this is where I am now, and this is where it is.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I met Mia. Well, actually, this is the first time I actually met Mia.
Yeah.
So big ups to that because we're about to have some real conversations here.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that coming from someone who she doesn't know. But I met her through a friend, Whitney. We met at a coffee shop, and me and her just hit it off. Just started talking about our jobs, and she worked at Nike, and I love Nike. And I worked at Apple, and she loves Apple. So, we had that in common, and we kind of spoke. And then we was following each other for a little bit, and then through that, I met Mia, and now we're here today.
Yeah, we're here today.
We're here today. So hopefully me and her have a lot in common. We'll be able to have a great conversation. And like I said earlier, so that you guys be able to put tools in your toolbox of life. Yes. So, a unicorn, born and raised in Charlotte.
I hate the term. I hate it when they say unicorns, and I say it. It's so funny. I have a show coming up about Charlotte, Sincerely Charlotte, and in the show at the end, I say I absolutely hate being called a unicorn. I said it doesn't make any sense. If I'm the one who's from here, like this is home, wouldn't you be the unicorn?
Yeah,
You're the
very much
odd
so.
man out, right?
Well, I think that's why you all are the unicorns because
That doesn't make
of
any
the
sense.
amount of people that are here, the
There's a
odd
lot.
man switched.
There's a lot.
So I think that's where it switched. But you don't like being called unicorn?
Hate it.
I'm not gonna call you a unicorn.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. So born and raised in Charlotte. Tell me a little bit about how that was, what your upbringing and how it was growing up here.
So growing up here, I actually my whole family is here.
Okay.
Like both sides. I got some family members who are in New York,
Yeah.
couple, but they're about to come back down. I've got an uncle who's out in California, little stuff like that. But most and majority of my family is in Charlotte or in North Carolina. And so I had a big village, growing up. I had grandparents, cousins, aunts. I had a whole, I had it on, both sides of my family. My grew up with my parents. I had a younger brother, younger sister. Have a younger brother, younger sister, and I have a nephew.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty I don't want to say strict per se. Most people might say it's strict, but a structured home.
Yeah. You had structure,
it was
discipline, morals.
Yeah,
standards.
yeah. You're required to do this, not this. School's got to be good. The whole nine. So,
Yeah.
grew up with that. Very important with my parents. They instilled a lot of great things in me: hard work, excellence, doing things with your whole heart, giving your all if you're gonna do it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the structure, especially as you get older, you can probably look back and during then, how you were about to say it was strict growing up, it's strict. Now you can kind of
I see where it's helped me
Yes.
in life. You know what I'm saying? I see how it benefited me in certain areas. Like some other areas, I'm like, oh, so stupid. That was dumb.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things I'd say I'm a fairly disciplined person because of that upbringing. I feel that way. Yeah.
If that's how you feel, that's how it is.
That's how. That's how I feel.
So yeah, you're a disciplined person because of your upbringing.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with it when you come from a home where like there's expected, you know, you got to meet, it's got to be this and certain areas where you got to be consistent and you build consistency. Your parents have built consistency in you, and I think all of those things all came together, and as an adult discipline, and when it comes to my business or when it comes to achieving a goal or seeing something through, all of those things that they taught me when I was little, they show up, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I do. Now.
You appreciate it then, you just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, not yet.
That's really dope, and I think the structure as a child is important.
Yeah.
It allows us to deal with the mental health that we may face now.
Yeah.
It gives us that good foundation to grow upon.
Yeah.
If we do stumble a little, which we all will, like it gives us a good foundation. And then I heard you mention also that community that you have, and that's still here, and that's very important. I remember on season 1, the theme throughout the episode, no one knows each other when they come on the show. Like they don't know who recorded last, but the theme is the community. Like people, when you are going through these isolations or when you are going through anything, one of the things that reoccurred was the community that they had. Like the people around them, their circle, they helped uplift them. They helped encourage them. They helped them through those things.
Yeah.
So on the topic of isolation and mental health, me and you spoke before, and we spoke about the definition of accidental isolation.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that. What was a moment or moments in your life where you may have found yourself like physically, mentally, or emotionally isolated?
I think the thing with me is this question, first of all, let me just say,
let's break it down.
Makes you think so much. Like, I think it's a lot of self-realization with this question too. And like, so when I heard that was the question, I was like, dang, I don't know. And then I started thinking, do I isolate myself? Like I started, and then I thought about it. I confirmed the focus with you, like making sure I understood it and grasped it. And I still deal with this type of isolation. Honestly, what I'm about to say, there are moments because it shows up specifically when I am in like work mode, when there is something to like, there's a goal. Like if I'm preparing for a show, usually it's when I'm creating. But if I am working on a project, I am, I think, the most isolated.
Okay.
I don't think I mean to.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think the accidental part, the unintentional.
Right. So it's very, I didn't mean to do, I didn't realize I was doing that, until someone taps on, your little world and says, hey, you've been in there for a while. Are you okay? And it's like, oh, wow, I haven't paid attention to anything else. I haven't stopped to eat anything. I haven't talked to anyone else. I haven't said a word. I haven't hugged you. I haven't texted you. I haven't called you. I haven't done any of those things because I've literally been in this like isolation, and I'm the only one in there. But I don't realize that until somebody taps on the bubble
and brings that to your attention. Yeah. A lot of times we don't see things, and even with the term accidental isolation, it's oftentimes you don't notice it when you're going through it. Yeah. It's something you have to look back on. It was like, oh man, through this time in my life, there was these things going on for a numerous of reasons, right? Like exposure equals expansion. Right. You weren't exposed, or it wasn't brought to your attention that this is what's going on. Right. Because technically we're isolated just by being humans. It's just in ourselves. Right. So we don't necessarily see or are aware of what's going on around us. Right. We may not notice. Yeah. And then as a creative, I'm just getting started in it, and I kind of already have those moments where it's like I don't want to talk to anybody, and to a point, it is essential to like be focused.
It is.
And your parents brought that to you with the consistency and the determination. There's moments where you need to be focused and get things done. And then my assumption, which gonna stop that. So
what's your assumption?
Don't make assumptions. I live by the 4 agreements, and one of the 4 agreements is don't make assumptions, right? So my question to you is, when you said you sometimes still fall into those, which is perfectly fine. No one's perfect.
Yes, I might be in that space in this time, like preparing for the show, because I'm in show mode. So I think people have to, I have friends and family who in their special ways kind of like,
take it personal.
Hey, well, they might. They have before. But I think we're getting to a point where very close friends and family. Now, if you're not really close, you might take it personal. You might think, I haven't, and it's like, I promise you, I don't mean any harm. But when I'm in, like, it's tunnel. It's very tunnel.
It has to be something. It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. But I'm learning at the same time to, and I'm learning it because I'm in therapy. I'm learning it because, I'm growing. But for instance, yesterday, me and some friends got up and we all do something in our very own way, like, perform, sing, whatever. And we decided last week, I was like, I miss y'all. Like, and we are very much so in the same circle. However, we're always we gotta go. We're always boom, boom, boom. And so one of them was like, let's go eat, like one of our favorite places, one of our favorite restaurants. And we were like, okay, cool. And we had to sit but it's moments like that when someone says, hey, reaches out and it's like, it's a lot going on, however, like, let's get up and let's commune. Like, don't be alone. Like, remember the community, like, lean into the people, who get it. And then for the people who don't get it,
and for the people who don't get it, you don't have to throw them away, but be separation of task.
Right, but I do let them know, listen, I'm just in show mode. I'm in show mode. It means nothing. It's really not.
We're going to hang out as soon as it's over.
We're going to hang out as soon as this thing gets, But I do appreciate friends who are like, hey, you can come up from the swim. You can come up and breathe a little bit. Come up for some air. And I'm like, you're right. I should come up, for some air. I should go grab some drinks with you. I should go to this event. I should take a week to not memorize my lines and just whoa,
take that break.
Just come up and the world exists outside of that bubble you're in where you've isolated yourself. So I'm appreciative of friends and family who understand. Mia's just I understand her mode. She's not going to show up. She's going to be a little tired. She's got to reserve her energy. I want to really take a look at the scripts and do. I got a meeting here. I got a meeting here. I got rehearsal here. I got rehearsal. It's just really go mode.
And that's where the intent, you were intentional to creating this production company you have. You're intentional with everything you're doing. And you have to continue to be intentional and consistent in order for you to grow. That's for you. That's self. That's what you need to do.
And that's how I feel. Everyone doesn't understand that, though. But that's how I feel. I'm like, this is good for growth. This is going to sprout me. And I'm going to,
grow big and tall.
I'm going to grow big and tall. And that's good. But I appreciate friends and family who tap me and say, hey.
And guess what? They're intentional with that. They were.
I think they get it now.
And that's the beautiful thing about having a community.
Yeah.
Like having those friends, those family, like the people that are there, they can understand. I'm a strong believer that you can't change anyone's mind, especially as an adult.
True.
Right? Even kids they got their mind made up sometimes.
This is
but
true.
As an adult, you can't change anyone's mind and you can't change how anyone acts.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is learn to integrate with them.
Yeah.
Right? Learn how we can make this better. In order for her to be successful, because she has been successful before, she needs to do this. She needs to go in this room.
And I think also a thing is that I may not reach out like, let's do this. Yeah. But if you reach out to me,
I'm going to say, yeah.
I'm going to be like, okay, let me try to make this work. I'm on their mind. I do need to come up a little bit. Yeah. I feel like, okay, you know. So it could be reciprocal. Like if I haven't, again, reached out, I'm in the zone. It doesn't mean I don't want to eat lunch. It doesn't mean I don't want to, you know, call you. Yeah. But I take every moment, like every second is
focus
like
on that goal.
Well, I think every moment and every second is like it's in the little things. So every second, like it really does count. Yeah. Every second.
Yeah.
It literally counts.
And that's what with
in
everything
the
you do.
Grand scheme of things, like the
each
seconds
stroke
matter.
To the paint, like every stroke to the paint.
Yeah. The time each second I take to create or like my, you know, it matters. I need that second. I need it. Yeah. Come here.
You got to take it. And that works in every profession. Like I was an athlete, and it's like every rep, every snap, right? When you're in marketing, when you're in business, it matters. Yeah. It matters so much, and it also matters that the people around you can see that it matters. Yeah. But we can get in our own heads as humans. Yeah. Right? Sometimes I can speak for myself. I'm a perfectionist sometimes. Yeah. Right. And even with the first season of the podcast, it was like, nope, not doing it. And then it was like, one of my teammates was like, do it. Yeah. And then we did it. And then it was like, I didn't like it, still don't like it, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's out there.
It's out there.
I can see the growth. Right. People can see the growth. And it wasn't until someone from the outside was like, gave me, got into my face and was like, not into my face, but they got into me and they spoke to me. It was like, you can take a breath, because that's what I needed to see, the grand scheme of things. Yeah. I was so in tune to each stroke of the paintbrush. I was so in tune for you, like to each word in the script. And then you step back and it was like, if one word is wrong, that whole sentence still makes sense.
That was the thing I struggled with too when I first worked my first show. Okay. And
your
Whitney, I would learn my script and I'd be like, man, that's not the word that was right there, And I'm like, how did I not know that word? I wrote it. Yeah. And Whitney said, right, you wrote it. So even if it's not the word, only you know that it's not the word. Like, no one else is gonna.
No one knows
that you said, that you swapped the two words, but the sentence is still perfect. Yeah. No one knows.
No one does.
And I was like, well, okay, I guess you're right.
You don't want to give her no credit. I guess you're right. That's how.
Well, it wasn't that I didn't want to get her credit. Yeah. Give her credit. She's right, but I think that excellence in that perfectionist, which I'm working on that. I'm only trying to concentrate on being excellent. Like it's just that's it. I don't want to be perfect. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. It's impossible.
It's a lot of pressure. But it just when she said it and I said, okay, whatever. I guess you're right. I was saying it more so like, okay, you got a point. Like it'll do. Right, it'll do. But I was struggling with that like need for me to want it to have it like just as it like just. Yeah. But it still went across great, and I have not come across one single soul ever at any show I've ever done who's like, you said that word, you swapped it out, I heard it.
And I want to salute you for like admitting and being vulnerable to saying I'm still working.
Yes,
we are all still working. I'll tell a quick story about. So I'm a yoga instructor.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, so I've been teaching yoga less than 6 months now.
Wow.
And at the studio that I'm at, I've been practicing for 4 years, but I've been teaching for like less than 6 months.
Got you, okay.
In the studio that I'm at, we have a flow, Journey into Power by Baron Baptiste. We use that flow. So we go in there every day, and that's the flow we go with. You can tweak it if you want, but, stick to the flow so the people that keep coming. And the biggest thing I'm learning as an athlete and want to make sure everything is right is when I go into that classroom, if I call a sequence out of order, if I call the wrong pose, I'm upset, I'm in my head. Or like after class, I'll say, man, that wasn't a good class.
Yeah.
The number one thing that helps me is it's not about me.
Yeah.
I'm the teacher. I did the work to be up here. I did the work to do this. It's not about me.
Yeah.
I can say I had a horrible class, and the 5 people come up to me afterwards, and they're
great.
like, I'm inspired.
Yeah.
I want to attack the day.
Yeah.
I want to, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I can't speak directly for you. I'm not in the showbiz, but I know when I watch a movie, I listen to music, right? It's my experience. It's the people's who's watching its experience.
Right.
So you may be hard on that word.
Yeah. Like one word. It really is
one
like
word when there's thousands of words
that I've said in the entire show.
And they're going to still have a phenomenal experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to love your work.
Yeah.
They're going to love what you put on.
Yeah.
Just because you did it and the heart you put it in. Because even if you go up there and you screw the whole thing up, they're going to love that. What I've learned in my short-lived life.
They don't know. They're going to be like, that was great. And I'm going to be like, thank you.
And those are your feelings. You're entitled to those.
Only my feelings.
But they aren't anyone else's.
Yeah.
And that helps me, like, just when I first started, I was a bad class. I'm down on myself. Now it's like I laugh it off.
Yeah.
I was like, or I'll speak with one of the students and ask them a few questions. And then it's like, they enjoy themselves. I created an experience for someone to create memories and to create a great experience for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Right. It's exactly what you do. And no one knows that you called a sequence out of order. They have no idea.
And if they do, they love it.
And if they do, they're like, great, we're going to switch it up and we're going here. Like, they don't even see it as like, you know.
And I usually try to play it off. I'm like, there's a little adversity. See what happens when something happens.
Just make something up.
I
tricked you. Were you paying attention? You know.
Sorry, yeah. So let's talk about production, playwriting.
For sure.
I don't know where to go, honestly, because you do so much. I don't know what started. So I'm gonna just leave it as an open question and ask, where did this, like, was this something that stemmed from growing up in childhood to this is what I want to do, or where did the production, the playwriting, the acting, where did that start, or how did it start?
It started a couple years ago, if I'm being very honest. People will always see a show or see me perform at anything, and they'll be like, did you do this in school? Did you go to school? Did you study? And I'm like, couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Now in high school, my freshman year, I took drama, theater. Shout out my teacher. Love her. It was her first year being pregnant. Mm-hmm. She had this is her first child. So she was working through a lot of like body and like life changes. So we really didn't like get super deep in theater. Also, it was theater 1. So we did like, never thought anything of it. Second year, took it with her again. Or maybe it was my junior year. I think it might have been my junior year. Yeah. My junior year, I took it again with her. She was pregnant again with her second child. So the same motions happened. Yeah. She's just kind of like, guys, I don't have the energy. I want to do this. We tried to pull a couple things, but, so didn't think anything of it. I was actually taking the class more so for the teacher than the class itself. I loved the professor. Love her today.
I know she's excited for you.
She see me on Facebook. She's like, I have got to get to one of your shows. Yeah. My 4th year, we put on a production, but I took the class because I was a senior and I only needed a couple credits. This time, that teacher didn't even work there anymore. So I was with a whole other teacher. We put on a production. I did more singing than anything. I didn't really act. And then that was it. That was if I say I did go to school, I mean that's it. Yeah. I have been writing poetry since I was in 3rd grade, and I've been performing it since I was about in the 9th, or probably a little bit before. I would memorize them and say them. Okay. And then in 9th grade, I think I did a performance in front of a lot of youth, and just kind of kept going. That was through church, and they heard me for the first time. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so good!" So I would they would regularly come and say, hey, we got an event coming up. Can you do this? And I'd perform. The crowds started getting bigger. And so I think if I'm saying performance, it came from somewhere. I would just say, for me, practicing my poetry and getting up in audiences and speaking. And I think I was telling somebody this the other day. I was like, in terms of the producer or like producing things, I said, I think that came, and this just hit me like the other day. I don't think I really realized it. But when I was little, I used to watch music videos, a lot of music videos. Like, I feel like when most kids should still be watching cartoons.
Yeah, you was watching
I was watching MTV, BET, anything that was like music. My grandmother loved music, my mom's mom, and I think I get that directly from her love for music. I've always been, so music and like visuals and like, So in my head, when I was little, and I still do it now, I'll catch myself. I will listen to a song and the video, I'll like make it in my head.
Create it in your head.
Yeah. And I just thought,
that's everybody.
Yeah, like you don't listen to this and see what a video going. You don't see this video. But I don't think everyone does do that. And I realized this recently. I was like, wow, I was producing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So, again, I did a lot of things. I was on air, radio, Power 98 for a couple years.
Of course it's here in Charlotte.
Yeah, it's a local popular radio station that plays hip-hop and R&B. I worked there for a couple years. I stopped working there, went to internet radio, worked there. From internet radio, stopped doing it, and got into podcasting.
Okay. So you're not unfamiliar to this.
Oh no.
That's why Whitney wanted you to go first.
I produced it. Found the guests. It was called Background Music. I talked to different artists about what album inspired them to want to do music. Mm-hmm. That was the question. That was the whole concept. Did that for a while. It just kind of became very taxing, and I got really burnt out because I was doing every single part of it myself. Yeah. And it was just kind of like,
I feel your pain.
Yeah. I was like, I can't, like, for more than 1 year, like, I was. And it just got very overwhelming. I wasn't as consistent as I started to not get as consistent as I wanted to be.
As far as hosting the show or just everything in general?
Just everything, like booking guests. Like you have to work around those schedules, and you have to work so many things out by yourself. And it's just, so eventually I stopped. I started back trying a show on YouTube, Love from the City with MiaLoveLive, which is just talking to different local and some indie artists, not talking about them, but listening to their music and just critiquing it.
Reacting.
Yeah. Did that for a little bit. Was not inspired at all after a certain point, like a couple months. And I have never, like, that fast? You out? So 2017, I was a part of a podcasting group, and we started talking about anxiety. I came up with the show. I was not in the best space in my life. I came up with the show, So Anxious. I was like, it could be like a mini series, and like, I'm going through these things in my head where I'm anxious because I deal with anxiety and I have since I was 13. And I could do this. And I came up with all these scenarios, these possibilities. I was like, I want to shoot it. Did not shoot it. Shot it first time maybe 2 years later.
After the initial thought of I want to shoot
After the initial thought, after all of these,
notes and writings and scripts. And
just didn't even have a script. Just was like scenario. This is one. I go through this, like a book.
Yeah.
And did not do anything with it. Put it up. 2019, at the top, they I get someone who's like, yeah, I'll shoot it. He was going through a lot. He shot it. He never edited it. Never went back. We never did anything else. So it was hanging off a cliff. I go, what was it? 2020, COVID, right? This is when I had just started doing Love from the City at the beginning of 2020. And I stopped. And I said, you know what? Beyonce had released her Black is King from The Lion King. She released it on Disney. Yeah. And I watched it, and I was like, I just wanted to create. Off of watching that, I said, I just got to create something. Like, I just have to. And so I hit up Leah, and I said, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And she's like, nothing. What's up?
Because this is during COVID.
Yes. Okay, this is.
It's not much we can be doing.
Well, this is true. No, this is true. But this is when, like, people were still, like, low functioning in society. Like, everything wasn't open, but every single thing wasn't closed yet. Well, we wasn't on lockdown.
This was before the lockdown, or
this was after
once they started
gently
loosening?
After. Yeah, they started loosening a couple things. People was out a little bit, you know. And so I'm like, I want to shoot So Anxious.
Let's do it.
And she's like, okay. I said, can you shoot it for me? That weekend, we shot the beginning, the opening scene. I mean, the opener to the show. We shot, and I think 2 or 3 episodes that weekend.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of that. I called Whitney too, because at first I was going to just shoot it, like I was going to shoot it and be in it, like a maniac, right? And Whitney was like, me and Whitney had not gotten close as we are now. I knew her. She knew who I was. She had helped me with something, but like that was, you know. And she said, why don't you just have someone else shoot it? And I was like, okay, you're right. So that's when I asked Leah, would she shoot it? Whitney, I was like, what are you doing this weekend? She was like, yeah, I'll come through if
you better come
I'm
through.
Around.
If I can't shoot it and be in it, you better come help.
Well, I wasn't even, you know what's crazy? I wasn't even so much asking her to shoot it. I didn't know her capabilities in that area specifically yet. And so I was really more so just like, hear me out. You know, Whitney's a great person to like bounce off. And I do this all the time. You can ask her. I'll be like, does this make sense? Like, you know, do you get this?
That good outside opinion, but she's still smart enough and understands you and understand what you're working with.
She's wild enough to where if it sounds like way far-fetched what I'm trying to do, she's wild enough to where she's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But she's like a good opinion, or, you know, gonna think through it enough to where she's like, maybe let's change it here, though. Let's try to do this or this.
Let's not go all the way to the edge.
Well, let's go to the edge, but maybe on our way to the edge, we got to make a couple stops. Yeah. Like, you know, like that.
Get a parachute or two. Maybe we
should get a parachute on the way to the edge. But let's go to the edge. So that's basically what she did. I told her that I was trying to shoot it. She didn't think it was crazy. She just thought, don't shoot it yourself. So went, shot that. Asked her, could she do my cover for the first season of So Anxious? I said I was going to do 8 episodes. I think in like a month, maybe less. I think by the end of July 2020, I had shot all the episodes. All 8, they were shot. I could edit. I knew how to edit. That came from podcasting experience, learning those skills, really just jumping in and being like, all right, we're going to figure it out. So I knew how to do all of that. I just needed a couple things, right? And I'm the type of person, you don't have to give me the whole package now. You don't have to give me every single thing that I need. Whatever you give me, I'm going to make it happen. And it's going to be... I am that person. That's not how I like to work, but
if I got to,
if I have to work that way, it's gonna be like it's gonna be great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so The first season premiered October because I created a group, Leah, Whitney, my friend Les at the time, my friend Promise, and we all, I grabbed them to help creatively. Like, these are great people to help create. So I had a team of 4 people and myself. After we shot them, I edited all. And then I did like a screening for us 4, like 5 of us. And that was their first, no, all 8. I had done all 8, had done everything. And I was like, all right, let's
watch this.
Let's watch it. Let me get some feedback. So we talked and they gave feedback and they were like, this is so good. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're watching it. They're watching it.
You have anxiety.
Right. I'm like, they're probably going to be like, this sucks. Like, you can, and then at the time, the perfectionism was really like, sorry guys, I did this. And they're like, girl, you sound like me. Noticed that? Like, who?
You try to protect yourself before what they can say.
Right. And they're like, girl, what are you even talking about? Like, we don't even see what you're talking, got feedback and they was down with me, started doing merch. Whitney helped me with merch. She understood merch. She has her own merch. She had her own merch. Everything. So she was like, no, let's get some merch out. She teaches me how to use, I had I can't think of the name of it.
Press?
Well, it's a press, but Cricut. It's Cricut. I bought a Cricut. She was like, all you got to do is boom, like teaching me how to like get the packages so I can send them out. Like, she was really trying to give me like okay, come on. Yeah. Eventually that just became too much. So I ended up not making the shirts on my own or with anyone that I knew personally. Yeah. I have a company.
Yeah,
had them do it. Yeah. So then I do season 1. I finished season 1. I think the last date of season 1 was in November. I did like 2 special episodes.
This past November?
No, 2020.
Yeah, okay.
I did 2 special episodes. That's more than 8 episodes there. Like. I did 2 special episodes. I was dropping them every week. Yeah. Every week from October. I just every week. It was an episode because they were already done. Yeah. So
mine as well.
All I had to do
just enough, but
I think it was like every Thursday or Wednesday. It was a new episode at the same time. New episode. Boom, 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 boom. So you got merch out. You got episodes dropping. I start after season 1. I immediately start season 2, going right in. Me, Promise, and Les got up. We came up with concepts and everything. At this point, a camera media company at the time, 2 guys, they said they wanted to shoot. They saw it. They thought it was inspirational. They wanted to shoot it. I said, well, I don't really have that budget for that. And they were like, we don't want it. We want to just, like, this looks really dope. And I was like, all right. They had great work. We started shooting. Couple weeks, we started shooting, and then we had to wait a little bit. Something happened. We start back shooting. We knock them all out. We shot every episode, 8 new episodes, and put them out. By this time, I'm working like these weird jobs to like stay afloat. Not weird, but like jobs that I was not
passionate about.
No, not at all, right?
I was talking to a guest the other day, Dose, and we were like, don't go broke chasing your dream, but chase your dream.
For real. Like it's really
keep that job.
It's a thin line.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, waking up, not wanting to go, but I had to do what I had to do. While we putting stuff out, I eventually write this poem. I asked Whitney to shoot me. I had written a poem the year before, posted it. It went great numbers. I said, Whitney, I'm writing this poem. Can you shoot me doing the poem and I'll post it? She said, yeah. And before we shot, honestly, ask Whitney, no lie. I was like, some great things is going to happen for this video. Like, we just speaking it. So we going to get some people going to see it, the right people, boom, boom, boom. This video did not even do the numbers that other video was. I thought this video was going to have like so many numbers, go viral. It did not, right? A couple people liked it, repost, boom, boom, boom. I get a message on Facebook from my professor from app when I went to school. Cameron Lippard. And he is in the sociology department. He's one of the professors. At this point, I learned he was the dean, not the dean. He was the chair of the department or something of students at that time in sociology department. And he said, hey, he messaged me on my inbox. He said, has anyone asked you to come up to app to share your show, your experience, you're so anxious. Like, has anyone ever? And I was like,
no.
Hey, Dr. Lippard, no.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
Yeah, like I didn't even know that was like, I wasn't even thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? He said, well, I'd love to talk to you about getting you up here for our students. And I'm like, oh, I remember I was like, and it's off that video. It is off of that video.
The video that didn't go nowhere.
That didn't do the numbers that the other one, And I was like, but we did say we was going to get, the right person going to see it. They're going to feel it. That's all you need.
Viewer, but we just got the one.
I don't care how many people have seen that video now. I don't care. Yeah. Because the one person who I needed it to see to open things, he saw it.
Yeah.
And so we talk. I think one of my biggest concerns was he was like, come up, talk about so anxious and like being black and like, because the poem was very black, and he was like, putting all that together, your life as a black woman is like whatever, and I'm like, I don't have nothing to share with these kids. Like, I don't have no program. I don't have like, what I'm gonna do? Sit back and play episodes of the show?
Yeah.
And so I remember one day I was at the job that I did not like, and I was reading something, and it came to me. And to this day, I actually have the screenshot of the text message that I sent Whitney and Leah. And it said, I got it. I said, the show. And it was the first time that I had described the show that I do today, that, like, just to see it go from, like, oh, I got it. It'll be like this, kind of about like this, like this. And I said, it'd be like my brain on anxiety. I said, kind of like, this is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
And from there, the first show that I ever, like, big, this is my brain on anxiety, the detailed experience of an anxious black woman.
Followed you, or like
this was 2021. You followed me.
Have you done it before?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, have you done it after? Yeah. So I might have seen that. That's what I've seen. Yeah. Yeah.
So August of 20. That was April. About June, we started really talking about it. Had Whitney on my team, Leah on my team. I hit up one of my great friends, Brittany, who's an amazing singer, and I said, I want you to be the music director. Yeah. Like, not knowing, but like knowing I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, I reached out to all my people. My friend Brittany reached out to a couple musicians who she thought would be great, and I figured out how to get into the theater at the Spirit Square.
What's that?
So the Spirit
Square. So I would be, what would you call
the unicorn? Gotcha. Okay.
You're
the uni. Okay.
I've been here about 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Then I was going for like 6-7 months too.
Oh, yeah, you're the unicorn. So down here there is Blumenthal Performing Arts, which is a big, So they have different buildings and different theaters, and they used to have one called Spirit Square that they're remodeling now. But there was a black box theater, which just means like literally as it sounds, black box theater. They had one. I inquired about it. I went and looked through it. Didn't know how I was getting the money. I was like, I'll just get sponsors. Didn't know who was gonna sponsor. Like,
don't know how, where,
don't
when.
know nothing. But I knew we were gonna do it, and I always call the team to this day. I call all of them crazy, and I call all of them crazy. I said, because y'all, I didn't have nothing concrete,
and y'all was rolling with
me, and y'all was rolling with my black ass too. And they was like, well, we believed in you. That's literally what we believed in you. And I was like, you're insane. All of you are crazy. And they're still with me today.
Yeah.
So we put on the first show. We did our first read through, got together. Everybody met each other. Everybody came to my crib July 4th, 2021. August 28th, of 2021 was the night of the show, and I did 2 shows, and it was just from there. I had booked performances at 2 schools, so I performed, App. I ended up making it to App State. Once I told the professor we met, I told him what I had. He said, great. Went to App in October, Wingate University in September. That August, I did both of the shows. December, I did another show in Charlotte. And then it was just...
Yeah, from there, it just kept going.
It just kept. I took a year off, and then I did... in 2022, from my shows, I did 2 shows, but they weren't mine. But
Were you producing them, acting in them?
I was just acting in them, performing.
Okay. Yeah,
that's literally great shows.
Give the brain a break a little bit, but still be within it.
Well, I think it came down to mentally. It was a mental thing for me. I think I had so much shit that I had to work out within myself. I don't think I could genuinely do my show, and so I didn't plan on taking a year off. A year happened, and then I was like, And so towards the end of the year, partnered with Blumenthal, and because the first show sponsored, there was no partnership. I went out here, hustled, got sponsorships. But this one partnered with Blumenthal, and they were like, all right, January you could do, that'll be the date for the show. January 2023 comes. We sell out the Booth Playhouse theater, the whole theater, 400 plus seats, packed wall to wall, and
it's incredible.
It was great. It was really a magical night, and also like a testament to like the process, right? Because when I first started off at the first theater that we performed at, it was like it was like 100 and some seats. 100 and some seats, and I had the nerve to do 2 shows, a 5 and a 7, right? The nerve of me. Like, when I think back now, I'm like, girl, you could have got that in 1. Get this one show. You could have did 1 7, and then boom, you was done. But everybody I did 2 shows, right? I did 2 shows, and it was 100 some people. Like, we was doing these 100 crowds, you know, and to see, I think all of us who were there from the beginning, and to see that night, January 28th, 2023, top of the year, we were like,
how much did that seat?
That's the one that was 400 plus.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember walking out on stage while like the show started. I'm first time walking out on stage. I remember like there is a point at the beginning where I don't say anything. Someone's singing, I don't say anything. I'm just taking it in and letting the audience take it in. And I remember looking like, oh, shit. And I think all of us were like, oh, shit. And we busted our ass that night. I mean, we knocked that show out of the park. Out of the park. And a couple months later, spoke with Blumenthal because we did so well. Threw out a couple ideas and a couple things I wanted to do, partner with them again for the Blumenthal Charlotte International Arts Festival that's in September. And I pitched this show, didn't have a script. I didn't even have the name. The name of it is Sincerely Charlotte, a love letter to old Charlotte. I didn't have a name to it. I just kept calling. I have this idea for the show. It's about old Charlotte and and they were like, well, we like how that sounds. So
give us a little something.
Let's.
Or did they go with it right away?
They went with it right away. They went with it. They went with it right away. They're like, that'd be great. This is a Charlotte International Arts Festival. Charlotte, plug it. And I said, okay. And immediately called Whitney and was like, girl.
I be seeing y'all be at the library doing a lot of I ain't gonna spill all the secrets, but we a lot of work to get facts.
There's a lot of work.
Creativity.
There's a lot of work, and I think with the brains, the creativity, the hard work, I think we both bring something to. Whitney is my main creative partner. Like, I create with other people, but like. When me and Whit start like getting things booming and ideas. It gets crazy. It gets crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we work so well, because I don't know too many other creative people who take the chances and risks that me and Whitney take, though. I don't know too many people who would hear the things that I say
and be like, all right, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, right.
All right,
I'd be like, Whitney, you crazy as hell. Why would you say yes to me saying
even though
this?
you the one who said it.
I'm like, God damn, she
you
is
calling her
crazy. Why did she go with this? And it happens like every time.
Yeah.
I don't care how big it is. I don't care how small it is. I don't care if it's super huge and we just haven't done it yet. But Whitney is the only person who matches my frequency of how upscale and like, I'm like, nah, I see it like this. I know it sounds crazy, don't it? But do you see? And then, like, you know, that's the thing we do too. We're like, do you see it? And we're like, I don't see it yet. It's not to say I won't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it yet.
Yeah.
And then,
that's it.
You know, the
I'm
way
sure
we
you
bounce.
didn't see Blumenthal at first. The big room.
Until
you
did not see it until it was there. And I was like,
okay.
So all of y'all want to see this show. Like, that's how I'm like, so, you know, a meet and greet. We had set aside certain tickets for meet and greet where you could purchase that. People sold out the meet and greet tickets. And I said, y'all want to meet? I don't understand it. Like, it was very hard for me to wrap my mind around that. People love the show, wanted to see the show. Not friends and family want to see the show. I'm talking about people who I have no idea who you are. I don't know. I don't know how you heard about the show. I don't know who you are. I don't know. Like that.
Why you here?
I don't know why you're here.
Well, I know why you're here. But
well, for the show, but like.
Other than that, why this show? Why me?
Why this show? Very much so. That's and it still kind of is.
Yeah.
I'm very much so like, these people are coming.
I want to dive into that. I want to speak about what was going on. There's no answer. There's no, I was going through this, and this is why I did this. For all we know, you have no reason why you kept switching, or you might have a reason. But I want to speak about.
I get it now, though.
I just want to speak about what you felt. I don't want it. There's no right or wrong. I kind of want to speak about what you felt when you were going to the talk shows, to the radio, to this radio, and then let me do my own thing.
Yeah.
Was it? I can do this myself, not because I'm better than, but was it I can put something on because I can see these visions? Was it I'm just ready for the next step in my career? What was it when we were kind of going through these jobs and these different career fields? They were all, well, I don't want to say different career fields because they were all similar.
Yeah, they were all similar, but I think I was doing a lot of it. So I'm not what you would call. I could be standoffish. I don't know if I'm necessarily shy, if that's the word.
I feel like shy is unintentionally. If you stand off, you're purposely not being rude, but you're purposely just
sometimes I get weird about things, and sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wasn't weird on stage. I knew that when I got around people, it would cut on.
Yeah.
Like, I knew certain things about myself. I went to college with the hopes of being on air, on the radio.
What did you study in school?
I ended up studying sociology. I didn't get into the communication. App State has a communication department, but they have the School of Broadcasting.
Okay.
You have to be accepted into the School of Broadcasting. I applied and was rejected my freshman year.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could waste time. Because by this time, my sophomore year, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to major in. I did not have any backup plans.
Yeah, this is
what I came for. What do I do? Ended up in sociology, went to the career department. They helped me. And I said to myself, I had a talk with another professor, Miriam Willis. Shout out Willis. She said, we talked about it, and I was like, I'm sad. Like, this is what I want to do. She was like, I was like, I'm supposed to be the next Oprah Winfrey. And she was like, and I talked to my dad about it too. People, and they were like, they said relatively the same thing. Oprah Winfrey didn't go to school for this.
And she didn't start until she was 35,
She didn't start,
40.
right. She started like late.
Yeah.
Like, my girl was late in the game, and you're only, at the time, 19. Like, relax, girl. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just have to get my foot in the door some other kind of way. Fast forward, graduated school, was about a year out, had lost my first corporate job, got fired from my first corporate job, had nothing to do, went to Dennis Reed and Inspire the Fire, and I had participated. It's a youth organization. Okay. I participated with them the year or two prior. So I went to kind of check them out. They have I can't think of the name. Damn, I can't think. But they have it every summer, and it's for a week, like 5 days or something like that. Then they perform on the last day. And I went to visit the youth and the kids. And this particular night, they had people come out and talk to the kids at the end of the night. Mm-hmm. And they had the program director for WPEG Power 98. Well, for WPEG Power 98 and another station. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's on the radio. The program director is like the person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's the one.
And while I was watching her, while I was in the audience, I said, I just need to meet her.
Yeah.
I said, just get me in the same space with her. I kid you not. God, strike me if I'm lying. We come out of the theater, all the kids, all the youth, they come out. I'm coming out. I'm passing a door. The door hits me. Mm-hmm.
And it's her.
And it's her. It's her.
Yeah.
And I said,
now she gotta stop.
And that's all. But all I need in a lot of situations, I'm very much so like, all I need is give me a second in the room. Just give me the room. Give me the person face to face. Like that's all I need. And I said, I want to work for you. I said, I'll do it for free. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't have she laughed and she said, well, I can't, by law, I can't have you here for free. I can't have you working for free. She said, take my card. Hit me up. Mm-hmm. I thought she was gassing me.
Yeah.
I thought she was just like she just finished talking to these kids. She's feeling inspirational. She about to leave my shit on red. And so the next morning, I sat on my floor in my room, no job, broke, busted. Disgusting. No, I wasn't busted. I was broke though. And I emailed her, and she emailed me back.
Right back.
And when I tell you from that day forward, she was like, do you have any experience? I said, no, but I want to, and I'm willing to learn. Like, I'll work hard, I'll learn. She said, come in and do your air check. Air check is like almost like if you're doing an audition for a movie, you send in your audition tape. So it's basically you reading off a bunch of like scripts commercials and stuff and just, recording it and sending it in. I didn't know the first thing about an air check. Went, did my air check, sound terrible. There was a guy who works there at Fly Tie, and he said he knows my dad. He knows my family. And so I saw him. I'm like, hey, Fly. He's like, hey. I was like, what you doing up here? I was like, about to be working. Blah, blah, blah. And I let him hear my air check, and he's like, let's do this.
Yeah,
like, nah.
Come here. Let me.
And he does it with me again, and it was so good. He, like, knew everything, like, And again, I can learn. So if you teach me, if you're telling me to do something, I'm like, bet, I got it. More. I sent it in. She said, all right. And I was working at the station. So I met her to meet. I think each job was I've learned something from each one. You learn something, right? And I be telling people, I was like, when I left the station, I still had I had another corporate job at this time. Got fired from the second corporate job.
We just knew corporate wasn't for us, and that's all right.
No, because I've gone back since.
Okay.
Like so it's fool. It's not for me.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. I know now.
Now I'm gonna quit.
It's not ready. Right. It's not them. It's not them hating on me. Mm-hmm. It's really me. I'm really not supposed to be here, and I keep trying to fit a circle into a square. Yeah. No, you can't. That's not gonna. So each job that I've had since, I just think that I was supposed to get something there.
Learn something, use it as stepping stones to
and I always where we are now. Right, and I always think about where I am now, and I'm always like, if I skipped that job. I wouldn't know how to do this now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't understand the importance of this. Like, sometimes you go through certain things and you don't get it because they're just puzzle pieces. But once that piece start, you say, yeah. There's no way I could have skipped a step. Mm-hmm. I needed every single step. I needed it. I needed every single second. Mm-hmm. I've taken so much from that I've learned, the experience, and like, I could not have done this without going through what I went through. I couldn't. It would be impossible for real.
And I think a lot of people, everyone needs those steps because everyone is a puzzle. Everyone has those pieces. Everyone has that steps. Painting. You got to step back from the strokes every now and then.
Everyone needs the painting, but
and it's good that you're able to notice that this is what was going on, and you have not bad, but like you have no regret, no nothing. Like you are grateful for those, and that you understand what you learned.
Stressful
from
times.
them.
Don't want to go back. However, I am very appreciative.
And still trying to.
That's very traumatic, especially when you're like, they must just not like. They don't like me. They don't like. What am I doing? Mm-hmm. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, wow, because you're not supposed to be doing it because your course has run out. You've done your course. You've done that. You tried it. You got what you needed. You know, when you get what you need.
When that cup is full.
The cup is full, okay, you got what you need.
Drink it, absorb it,
yeah,
and then go somewhere else and fill it back up.
Yeah.
So when I'm gonna jump a little bit around. Well, not around. I'm gonna jump back forward. Now going through. Now we know the steps, right? We talked about the steps that took us to getting a sold out Blumenthal. It took the steps to get where we are today. During So Anxious, right? I want to talk about that for the simple fact of it turned into My Brain on Anxiety.
It literally turned into that.
This is a show that the purpose is to bring awareness to these things.
For sure.
I speak about COVID a lot on this show only because it's recent, but also the effect COVID had on us.
Man.
Not just the negative, right? Condolences to everyone that was lost. Condolences to all the emotions we were dealing with and we felt.
For sure.
And thank you. Because of that isolation,
we
were able to learn.
I quit.
Somewhat forced to be with ourselves.
I quit my job during COVID.
Because you were able to sit back and just listen to yourself, which oftentimes we aren't able to do because we're doing 1,000 different things while trying to chase our dream.
Yeah.
Or just not even about chasing our dream. Like we're just doing so much. We're always moving. Sometimes we don't have the time to sit with ourselves. Even if you're the person in the friend group that's always reaching out and you're helping everyone else and you're the mental health guy or person or girl in that circle, you're the one they talk to, you don't have time to sit and just listen and be with your thoughts. And one thing COVID brought was time.
Time and thoughts.
Isolation.
Time and thoughts is all I got.
And that's when the So Anxious began to grow. And then and then going through that successes, it led to My Brain on Anxiety. And I want to speak about you and your anxiety. I want to speak about what anxiety looks like for MiaLoveLive. How it looks for this successful person, right? Everyone feels like, one, they can't go through certain things or they don't go through certain things, or also that it just looks different. And it does look different for every single person. So what does that look like for you? We spoke a little bit about how when we're at the finish line, when we see the finish line, we kind of get isolated. Yeah. But what about other times when you're going through anxiety?
I could get really isolated with anxiety. It's just very overwhelming. Mm-hmm. So many sensory things that are just, I can't do it. I'm thinking 90 steps ahead about something that is not even here. And that is literally a constant, like a very constant, often thing. Mm-hmm. I've gotten better with therapy and just with growing in general, understanding myself better, triggers, figuring out why really stopping to look at the whole situation, be like, okay, why do I feel like this right now? You know, like, let me assess what makes me feel uneasy, listening to like my heart fluttering sometimes, and I don't like that, or my stomach dropping, like, why does this make me feel like this? What about this space makes me feel that way? But it's been a long road, though. Yeah. It is not, and I say this in the show, I don't have all the answers. I don't have them. The show, thank y'all for coming out tonight. I'm so glad y'all enjoyed it, got inspired. These are not all the answers, right? Yes. Please also follow up and do your own work, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving, it was more of a way to connect with people. Black people, and to bring really awareness. Yeah, that's what it was, like to really be like, I see you, you're not it, we here, we're both here, dog. Like, yours look a little different than mine, but like, it's the same. I feel you. Yeah, that's really what it was, to put it on a scale where it's like, I feel you, I see you. And I feel like that's a lot of what my work is. I feel you, I see you.
And I think that's how I saw you. Yeah, like seeing that, and that's what made me want to go out there and like put you on this show, because just like you, I would never, as I was writing my memoir and I began to start the podcast, the thing that stuck with me the most was, I don't like, people always come, like people do come to me and ask me for advice, things like that, but I don't like telling people what to do.
Me either. Oh my gosh.
I don't like telling people what to do.
I've gotten that, and I get that so much. What do you do? And I'm like,
I can tell you what I do.
I can tell you what I do, but you, and this is years of having
figuring out what I do.
3 things out, like, you know what I'm saying? These. So I'm like, bro, I don't have all the answers, and I just want y'all to know, I do not. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. I don't. I'm literally just like, at best, I see you, I feel you. That's it.
And that's the best thing to do, because that's all you have to give. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, like, I only figured these 3 things out. The catchphrase of the show, with me being said, I don't like telling people what to do, but we're here to help. Yeah. And that's what this platform is for. Yeah. That's what your platform is for. The catchphrase of the show is putting tools in the toolbox of life. Yeah. Because you can use one tool, and that one tool can like fix a lot of things, or it can put together a lot of things. And
or then maybe it fixes only like one thing.
And sometimes one tool can only fix one thing.
One thing, and you got to go to another tool.
One way you get through something sometimes can only work for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why this platform is here. The platform isn't for you to come on and tell everyone, this is how I do it, this is how you should do it, this is how we get out of it. No. Yeah. This platform is to show your vulnerability, show your story, and hopefully they'll be able to learn from what you use and apply that. Yeah. I want to put these tools in your toolbox, right? I want to put these tools in there. Yeah. So when you go through your isolations, you can try
it out if you want.
Try it out.
Yeah. See. I mean, it might.
It might work. Yeah. I'm not a big handy man, but it might not. And it's okay. Like, I'm not a big handy man.
And I'll just encourage people to keep.
I try them.
Just keep trying them. You'll find that thing that'll be like, okay, this works. You know, number one thing I always tell people, though, I'm like, nah, that'll really help therapy. I tell people that. I'll be like, get in somewhere, because then you'll really see 9 times out of 10, this is shit only in your head. Mm-hmm. Get out of your head.
That's what anxiety is. Anxiety is
it is you being stuck in your head, only thinking about things, and then when you start to talk it out, you're like,
you become the presence yourself.
You're like, wait a minute. That's like 9 years from now. Why am I even thinking about that? That doesn't even matter. Like, you know, when you talk to someone, when they start to help you with your coping mechanisms, or you start to link things together, you know?
Yeah. So now that you brought that up, how I end the show is with the catchphrase, right? I want to ask you, what are 3 tools like throughout your life, right? So therapy, community, like whatever they are to you, what are 3 tools to help you figure out life, to help you move throughout life?
Creative expression is always showing me how to move through life, like even without me realizing that that's what it's doing. I'll be working on a project, and maybe afterwards or during, I'll be like, wow, okay, solved that, but I've solved it by creating, and now I see. I'm like, oh, okay, I should do this. Creating therapy is important. I'm currently not in therapy, but I haven't gone because I'm like, okay right now. Like,
being with yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm very much so like I'm in the show. I mean, I'm very much so like I'm in therapy, but I like some time to really apply. You know what I'm saying? I like that time. So right now I'm in an applied time. And then meditation and prayer is really big for me. That's how I get my answers. When I don't, and a lot of times when I meditate and pray, I realize that's a lot of anxiety, and the real one thing or central point is this.
Yeah.
But I only get that through when I slow down through the meditation and prayer. So if I don't slow down and meditate and pray, these thoughts, these things I've created, you know,
aren't. Not that they aren't real, but they aren't here yet.
They're not real. They don't exist.
Yeah.
You've made
Created
this up.
That.
Don't waste your creativity on anxiety.
Yeah.
Because that's really what you're doing. You're creating
these scenarios.
You're literally producing
all these fake scenarios.
These things that will never happen.
And then you're believing in them.
They don't happen to the T, or they won't have, or like I'm always in a space, or a lot of times I'm in a space of preparing for something that I don't know where they came from, but I'm preparing. Like I'm a doomsday prepper in my brain. Like that's what I feel like. Doomsday preppers are very anxious people.
Yeah. They have to,
because you're planning for something that you don't really. What are you prepping for?
And that's the truth.
That's me.
Yeah.
What are you prepping for? I don't know, but I need to be prepared. So, meditation and prayer, therapy, and just always creating, getting it out, whether it's a show or not. Write through it, draw through it, record through it, produce through it, perform through it. A lot of my performance is very much so like I'm performing my way through a lot of things.
Outward expression.
Yeah.
Getting out your emotions.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yes. MiaLoveLive, I want to thank you. I definitely want to thank you for your time, giving me your story, being vulnerable. And I'm excited. I'm excited to release it. As we're in the show, I want to give you opportunity to. You do have something coming up. Also, just put out anything you want to. People need to follow social media. Your next production, anything like that.
Sure. So you guys can follow me on Instagram at MiaLoveLive. You can follow me on Facebook and TikTok if you want. But if you really want some true engagement, at MiaLoveLive, check out my website, MiaLoveLive.com. I do have a show coming up, Sincerely Charlotte, a love letter to old Charlotte. It will be at the Booth Playhouse Theater in Charlotte. It's uptown at 7 p.m. and it's a part of the Charlotte International Arts Festival. So I'm super excited to be a part. It's my first year having some work on stage, but it's going to be a great show. Going through and creating a sense of nostalgia and love and this piece of like missing old Charlotte, what Charlotte used to be, and the places that really made Charlotte what it is today, that aren't here, but they made this place. And so please come check it out. It's a great, great show. I'm excited as the day gets near and near. It's going to be amazing. So get your tickets.
Yes, ma'am. That's a wrap. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.